Hey gorgeous soul, I'm Zoe and welcome to the oasis.state podcast, a space where we decode life's mysteries and embrace the what the fuck moments that make it magical. Let this podcast be your trusted companion on your wild journey of transformation, healing and soul expansion. Together, we'll dive deep, celebrate our technicolor existence and turn life's chaos into pure magic. Hello, my loves. So I have just been trying to record a meditation and it was so hard. And thankfully I had a friend help me realize that I'm actually not on that frequency right now. I'm in a very liberated, inspired, highly expressive space. So I'm just pressing record now on an episode and I'm going to see what comes out. And hopefully I can get whatever needs to be said out into the world, and then that will free up some channels to really drop in for this meditation because I'm really, really excited to share this meditation. If you listen to my previous episode, I was just talking about going into a bit of a spiritual cocoon and really nutting out what light and dark, the inner light and inner dark within us means for me. And then I also actually started connecting with my darkness like it was a friend, and it was really quite transformative. And so that's sort of been gestating in my inner experience for the last week or so whenever I last posted that episode, and it came through this morning that I wanted to make it into a beautiful full-on meditation. And oh my god guys, it's going to be so good. I've cried like 50 times. It's just so beautiful and I just feel like it's really, really potent. I keep getting waves of goosebumps and full body chills and everything as I'm doing it. And I'm not mentioning that to have like a little bit of a flex about it. I feel so honored. I feel so honored to create something that might help someone else that is trying to meet their darkness and move it back into the light. And just to me, that's the whole spiritual journey. That's the whole point of being a human and a soul, is to not reject these parts of ourselves and, illuminate a light on some parts of them and cast a shadow on the others. It's just to bring yourself back together, like again and again and again and again. So anyway, I'm really, really excited to record that podcast, but I think I just need to get some talking out, some yapping out. Okay, so what do I want to talk about? I want to talk about, I suppose, expressing yourself. I've really been on this really fun journey lately of speaking my truth, and really realizing the potency of that experience of speaking your truth, which speaking your truth can sort of be grouped in with an experience of being vulnerable, because we live in a world where and especially as women as well, I can only speak to my experience as a woman, we all want to speak our truth more, but we're also deconditioning from years of oppression about being in our power and telling it like it is. And it literally, there's been generations and seasons of time and cultures where it has literally been dangerous, or we've been killed for speaking our truth. So this journey right now of me, speaking my truth and learning to be vulnerable is so cathartic and so enjoyable. But also there's so much compassion for the vulnerability piece there, because as I mentioned, especially as women, it hasn't even been physically safe at times. And even in our day and age now, it can still be physically dangerous to speak your truth as a woman, or as anyone. Like, there's a lot of oppression going on. So I really am so grateful to be in a part of the world where that is somewhat safe and is safe, I guess. And I have the freedom and the wonderful opportunity to flex this and exercise this. So what's an example of speaking your truth? Well, I suppose me coming on here on this podcast and recording is me speaking my truth. I just press record. I tell it like it is, just from my experience and perspective, and I invite you to take what resonates and leave the rest. And how beautiful is that we've incarnated in a time where we have technology, and I can, press record on a voice memo right now, pop it up online, and anyone that has access to the internet is welcome to witness me speaking my truth. How cool is that? And I'm so grateful for all the versions of Zoz that have moved through the layers of resistance to speaking my truth, or, you know, I still feel vulnerable when I come on here and record, but it's like I've developed my relationship with vulnerability so much now that I still do the thing, and then I have so much compassion and love for the vulnerability that no doubt comes with me speaking my truth. And how else am I speaking my truth? I suppose just through the umbrella that is my business, oasis.state, so on social media too. Social media can be very edited and curated, but I love TikTok because you can just sort of go on and press record. So I was a very Instagram girl for ages, and it's, you know, it can be curated. You got to edit your videos and have like a like music over the top and then a filter and all of this stuff, and it's really fun and creative and expressive, but I probably wouldn't say that is the biggest flex for me, expressing my truth anymore. But a few months ago I downloaded TikTok, and it was such a breath of fresh air, because people are just like laying in bed with like a hoodie over their head, eating some like Doritos, and just being like, hey, this is how I'm feeling. And it can be funny, it can be insightful, it can just be whatever they want to say. So like I said, I've only been on it for a few months, so it's not like a cut and dry, like, oh, Instagram is more curated and TikTok isn't. There's probably definitely influencers out there on TikTok that are not speaking their truth either, but I can only speak to my experience, and it has been very enjoyable and cathartic to jump on TikTok and express my truth. And I think I also did that because, you know, after being years and years on Instagram, you just feel like you're a big fish in a small pond. And I mean that in the sense that I know a lot of my followers personally, they're friends, they're people that I run into, you know, grabbing coffee, there's family members, sort of thing. And I just created a TikTok, and it feels like more of a global platform because of the algorithm. They just like fucking flick you out there. But for some reason, just speaking to masses of strangers is a bit more of a speaking my truth flex at the moment than it is speaking to the small following of people that I have on Instagram. So yeah, that's just like another little intuitive hit that I followed, because I was feeling like I was just getting in my way so much with speaking my truth on Instagram, because it's like, I want to speak to, say, who's like my target audience. And that's just a very like bro marketing thing to say, but I can't think of another term right now. But my target audience would just be, women like, and men, but people like myself that are so driven by their spiritual evolution and everything that comes with that. Like it can be easy and fun and light and playful, and then it can be dense and uncomfortable and confusing and lonely. And I just want to speak to those people who are basically just past versions of me and future versions. Like we're all sort of in that same camp, but those people that are really driven by and obsessed with their spiritual evolution, and speaking your truth and stepping into that vulnerability piece is one of those pieces. So yeah, that's really exciting. I can't remember why I started talking about the target audience, but I'm going to cut to another point now. So yeah, why is it even worthwhile expressing your truth? Hold on. Oh my God, I made an iced coffee and I just couldn't resist it. Why is it worth speaking your truth? I've just given a disclaimer about how, stressful it can be, being vulnerable and putting yourself out there. So for me, speaking my truth and having compassion for the vulnerability that comes with speaking my truth is like the fast track to my authenticity. It has been so, so beautiful. And I feel like for so long, everyone, it can be glued all over like the personal development space and the spiritual development space, like be your authentic self. And I'd be like, but what, like how, like what the fuck? That doesn't even make sense. Like it was just such a bumper sticker phrase for me for so long. And then without even realizing that was the quotation marks end goal, I just started naturally playing around with speaking my truth. And then I dipped into the whole vulnerability piece and then realized that through speaking my truth and having compassion for my vulnerability that comes with that, I've been stepping into my authentic self. And I'm like, oh my God, I get what they were saying now. And I think that's very common personally in my spiritual journey, is there's an intellectual knowledge of something, of a concept, and then all of a sudden, like I keep doing my work, showing up, so like driven by my soul's expansion and my heart-led journey, and then all of a sudden that intellectual knowledge clicks into like this embodiment and this knowing. So it's like the knowledge shifts to the knowing. And that's the journey that I'm on now, my authenticity journey. I'm beginning to know it and embody it rather than just have the knowledge of it as like an intellectual topic or concept. So it is definitely worth exercising and playing around with speaking your truth, because it is very liberating for me. It's been very cathartic and very freeing. And as I've already mentioned, that the two ways that I've been doing that have been recording these podcasts and showing up on social media, playing around with different platforms. And all of these things have just been intuitive little hits of like, fuck, maybe I'll, record a podcast again. Because I had a few months there that were really kind of heavy and dense and I just didn't feel very expressive, which is completely fine. But I just love following those intuitive hits of like, fuck, I might press record, and see what comes through. And I've been doing that for the last few weeks and it's just so cathartic and I feel like I'm stepping into my authenticity more. And it feels really nice. And like I said, those intuitive hits of playing around with social media and being like, oh, it's like I'm leveraging the confidence that I'm building with speaking my truth on TikTok back onto Instagram. It's not that I'm just like, ooh, Instagram, but I'm getting a flex and feeling that authenticity piece from being on TikTok. And then I'm like, well, fuck it. I'm going to go back on Instagram and flex more of that authenticity there. And then I'm pivoting back and forth. So that's really cool and exciting as well. And then another way that I've been expressing my truth and stepping into my authenticity is just through conversations with my loved ones, and just instead of feeding into the identity and the role that I believe that person wants me to be. So, I might be talking to someone and I'm like, oh, they want me to be cool, calm and collected, which I am a cool, calm and collected person, but I'm also a super, super multifaceted human being who has dorky moments and highly anxious moments and moments of doubt, etc. And I feel like by me just actually telling it like it is to someone, like friends around me, and I'm so grateful that I've got safe places and environments and people to do this. But that's also been a conscious effort on my part to step away from environments that didn't feel safe and put more time and energy into people that make me feel safe to be me. And that's like a whole self-worth piece, and you have a conscious ability and like a sovereign ability to choose those environments. So celebrating that I have those safe and comfortable environments around me to do the uncomfortable things, and the uncomfortable thing has been expressing my truth. So I feel like by me saying to someone so I ran into a friend, not ran into a friend, but a friend said that they saw me walking up to the beach the other day and I couldn't I didn't see them or something like that. And I just like sort of brushed it off. And then later that day, I actually told him, I was like, I was actually drowning in social anxiety that morning, and it was a huge reality check for me that I missed an opportunity to see him and wave to him and be like, hey, good morning, and then keep walking to the beach to do sunrise. And it just felt so freeing and cathartic to, instead of being like, oh, whatever, I didn't even notice you. I was just like, oh, well, the reason why I didn't look up at you and didn't notice that you were there was because I was actually drowning in anxiety that morning, randomly just woke up. It had been fucking 15 minutes and I was just like, cool, having one of those moments. Like, who knows? As a woman, I was probably in my luteal, just like fucking overthinking everything. And just by having these safe people around me to just tell it like it is and be like, hey, I was actually just feeling anxious. Or what else have I been doing? When I sort of feel like a shift in someone's energy, or I have a shift in my energy, rather than running away and being like, oh, this is the story, I've overstayed my welcome, or my energy is too much, or I've upset them. You heard three pretty limiting toxic stories just run out of my mouth really quickly just then. When I've been feeling those shifts in things, it's not about coming fully up in someone's shit all the time and turning over every stone. But if it feels right in my body, I'll say to them like, hey, I felt like a shift. Is there, did you feel open to talking about that? Is it something that I did? Or they have and could let me know like, oh, sorry, I'm just having a moment. I'm really stressed about this email coming through, etc. And by expressing my truth, I have just cut through so much crap and so many stories that my mind can get on a roll about, you know what I mean? So there's two advantages that I've already mentioned of expressing my truth. Is one, by me, say that first example of me being like, oh fuck, sorry, I didn't see you, I was actually just sort of like really deep in my inner world and moving through some anxiety. By me expressing that, I immediately shifted so much shame around that said anxiety, because I'm a human being. I'm going to have moments of anxiety. Like I said, I don't know where it fucking came from. I was just having a weird morning, and that's totally fine. But by me expressing that to someone that was a safe person, it instantly made me feel so much lighter. It felt like a warm hug. And I was just like, oh, okay, well, like I love that I will now not unconsciously develop any shame or guilt around feeling that anxiety, because I shared it with someone, and then that person was really appreciative, and they're like, oh wow, thank you so much, like that's really freeing for me to hear that. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then the second thing, that second benefit of me expressing my truth and being like, oh hey, I'm sort of like feeling a bit of an off energy, is it you, is it me, is it nothing, is it us, that invited so much clarity to come in, and again didn't let me get carried away in my inner environment around, oh my God, this person hates me, I've done something wrong, I've been too much, etc. We could just bring it to the surface and then be like, oh hey, XYZ, or I'm just stressed about this, like it's got everything to do with you, or it's got nothing to do with you. You know what I mean? But by me if I didn't own my truth, which was, hey, I'm feeling a bit off, and feel confident enough to be vulnerable in that truth and be like, hey, this is what's going on for me, I would have missed an opportunity to create a deeper connection with that person, and probably would have run away with an inner dialogue that wasn't even real and didn't even make sense. You know what I mean? So that sort of segues me into another reason I suppose, or benefit of speaking your truth, is that I just got a message pop up on my phone and I lost my train of thought. Another benefit of speaking your truth is, I find the deeper I'm diving into my authenticity, the deeper possibility is being created to create deeper connections. Sorry, I really kind of butchered that, but does that make sense? So there is a correlation between the more vulnerable I am being, and it doesn't mean you spread your deepest, darkest secrets out to everyone all the time. Like I said, there is a disclaimer there of like doing your self-worth work and choosing environments that feel safe to express yourself. And your truth could just be, hey, I'm feeling really happy and confident and sexy today. Let's put on some cute dresses and go and get coffee. You know what I mean? And then other times expressing your truth will be, hey, I'm feeling really anxious. Can you hold some space for me, etc. But in my journey with this vulnerability piece, the more that I'm vulnerable, the deeper of connections I've been able to create with my loved ones around me, because I feel them soften in my authenticity. I feel them soften in my vulnerability. And again, that's circling back to the safety piece. If you're around people that don't make you feel safe to be you, that don't, like, check in with your nervous system. Are you feeling grounded and relaxed and like, it's like a warm hug and a big exhale? Are there people around you that are making you feel like that? Because I wouldn't be expressing my truth to people that don't make you feel like that. And then you might be like, yeah, but Zoz, you're jumping online and doing those things. And it's like, yep, that's the vulnerability piece. That's sort of the edgier side of expressing my truth, is that I express my truth in ways where anyone with the internet can come along and comment on my vulnerability piece. But if that happens, then instead of going on a self-rejection loop and criticizing myself and contracting myself again and not being in my authenticity, that's an opportunity for me to acknowledge what has happened, but then refuse to let it dim my light. And it might be a forgiveness piece, it might be a letting go piece, it's basically just things in life happen to help you redirect back to that unconditional love and that unconditional acceptance piece. So when you're expressing your authenticity around your loved ones and your inner circle, and that might be new people coming into your life that feel like they could be your, like, long-time loved ones, or they might be people around you that you are just learning to actually take those masks off and be yourself around. They're the ones that I said, so you're having that vulnerability piece. It's an invitation for a deeper connection. And yes, and that's what I've experienced. And yes, you have the opportunity to have a deeper connection with people on the online space as well. But I'm saying not everyone is going to be totally here for your authenticity, but that by no means is an indication that you should be less of yourself or not express your truth and not dive into that vulnerability piece. Because when that does inevitably happen, I've just explained to you what it is. It's an opportunity to come back to unconditional love and acceptance for yourself and for that person. It might be a forgiveness piece. It might be a letting go piece. It might trigger something in you that you need to move through. It might trigger anger. It might trigger, all of these different things in you. But the constructive piece with this is learn to stand in your authenticity regardless of what people think. And I hope that you are met with more love than you are ever met with rejection. But if you are met with rejection, that is just the human experience, and it is not an invitation to reject yourself. It's an invitation to come back into more of a solid place of authenticity and love for yourself and for that person. So these are wonderful benefits of speaking your truth, guys. I really, really hope I'm amping you up and liberating you to speak your truth more, because I feel like I've just rattled off so many benefits of speaking your truth. And I think I sort of got into the point and then went on another tangent about it. But another thing that I want to mention before I wrap up this episode is when you're speaking your truth, it's making sure that you aren't feeding into an identity or a role that you think that person wants you to be. Like I do remember speaking on this earlier in the episode. So it's like, you don't have to be that put together, well-organized professional person. Are you just telling yourself that you need to be like that because it makes your manager or your mum or your uncle or your dad's cat feel more comfortable? Or if you aren't speaking your truth and stepping into your vulnerability, you might be feeding into a story. Say you're texting a cute boy and you've automatically gone into this, creating this role and this identity within yourself that you're cool, calm and collected. And yes, you are cool, calm and collected, but you're also like a dorky, highly anxious fairy at times as well. And you don't want to just create this facade of who you are to these people, because how exhausting is that, guys? When you step into your power and express your truth, it is just collapsing all of these different fucking identities that you think you need to be for all of these people around you. And how exhausting does that sound? Even me just saying that sentence is so like, I've got to be one person for my mum and one person for this cute boy I'm texting and one person for my manager and one person for this. Like, if you are just coming back to that authenticity piece, then you are just showing up as the person that you want to be, that makes you proud, that makes you want to support yourself. And then you're exuding that out into the world. And I'm piggybacking off this story, off this point onto another point. But when you're speaking your truth and exuding your authenticity, then it's a fucking bullshit radar. It's a filter for the people that aren't meant to be in your life. And like I said, if you are met with confrontation or confusion or a sense of rejection from being yourself, they're not your people, and that's fucking okay. So by being your authentic self, it is a filter. It is the bullshit radar. It gets people out of your way, and the brighter you can shine your authenticity light, the quicker and easier your soul family will find you. Drop the mic, like as if that's not worth a tiny bit of a feeling of discomfort that comes up and a sense of vulnerability when you speak your truth. For you to find the people that are meant to be in your life and that will reflect your authenticity and celebrate you and love you for the actual fucking person that you are, rather than the identity and the facades that you've built up around you because you thought that you needed to be all these people for all of these people. Oh, guys, there's absolute layers to it. And it's so in depth, but I'm really, really enjoying my journey of speaking my truth, because it is so cathartic, it is so healing, and it's liberating. That's why I'm like freaking jacked up on all this energy, because I did it again today. I can't remember what it was, but there was an example like an hour ago, and I was voice messaging a friend about it. And then they were like, fuck, that's so liberating. Thank you for sharing that with me. And I was like, yeah, shit, that was me expressing my truth again. So I've been flexing this muscle enough times that it almost became an unconscious process in the most beautiful way, because I think it's an awareness journey. So if you're texting someone and it feels a bit ick, like what you're saying, or you're not sure what to say, or you're stumbling on what you're saying, take a moment, center yourself, take some breaths, and reconnect with your truth. What does the authentic you want to say to that person? Rather than feeding into the identity or the facade or the person that you think that person wants you to be, who do you actually want to be in relation to that person, and then text them from there. So that is all that your speaking your truth and your authenticity journey is. It's an awareness muscle. And I've been flexing it enough now that I didn't even realize I'd done it. And thankfully my friend reflected it to me. I was like, wow, that's so liberating that you did that, and just told it like it was. And I was like, oh yeah, that's it. It's happening. So I'm so thankful for all of these avenues that I have the freedom to express my truth, because it's automatic. It's becoming like this autonomic process within me now. And I love it. I love it because I'm shining my light. I'm becoming the person that I want to be. I'm being so authentic, and it is so fun. So yeah, I hope any of those points that I made, or this whole episode, has inspired you to speak your truth a bit more. If you need a safe space to speak your truth to, drop into my DMs. Let's connect. I would love to, provide you with that environment and that connection to start speaking your truth, because it can be scary at the start, like everything is, like all of the unknown things and things that you haven't done before are. They're just textbook scary at the start because you haven't done them before. But in my beautiful journey with expressing my truth and having compassion for the vulnerability that comes with that, it has led me on this wildly cathartic and enjoyable and liberating journey of coming back to my authenticity and moving from that intellectual knowledge of authenticity into this true embodiment and knowing of it. And guys, it is like fucking crack. It feels so good. Yay. All right, I'm going to leave it there. Love you guys heaps. Talk soon. Hey, beautiful soul. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Oasis.state podcast. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love for you to share it with a friend. It means the world to me knowing that everyone who needs this medicine and magic can lovingly receive it. Also, I'd love to hear from you, so feel free to reach out via social media, my website, or email. Can't wait to connect, and until then, sending you heaps of love.